Alright, I kind of forgot where we left off. I want to say it was some kind of crucial moment.
A cruise ship?
Shh. If you can't be quiet, baby, you gotta go somewhere else. I think we were playing as Phoenix. Right. And, I don't know, we were trying to prove something. Something, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Alright, let's see. All we had to do was work a little magic and the prop was... what? I want to say it's the needle. Oh, I think we were trying to figure out how he could have refilled the IV bag to make people think that it had stopped dripping earlier than it really did. So I'm gonna say maybe the syringe helped transfer the fluids. Because it says it's been washed and shows no sign of use. Ooh, I think I was right. The victim's syringe. It's the perfect prop for the magically increasing IV trick. And easy enough for an amateur to use.
Objection!
What kind of evidence is that? The syringe was clean, not a trace of liquid in it. Isn't that what's weird about it? Oh yeah, and don't you find that odd, Professor Gavin? What? The victim had the syringe to administer his insulin shots. There should have been traces of insulin left inside. Well, Valiant Gramarye, as you pointed out yourself, the IV liquid makes the perfect clock. One that you can manipulate at will. Alakazam! I do believe, well, with this being his first, that the burden of this trial has been a bit too much to bear for Prosecutor Gavin. I'm afraid that while there is a doubt as to the amount of IV liquid in that bag, the time of death cannot be proven. And that brings our trial to a close for today. Well, maybe I can squeeze an extra day out of this. I can do a little much-needed investigation work. I see there are no objections. Truly, there's no substitute for experience. Nothing blinds one to the truth so effectively. A word to the wise. Underestimate the young and they'll sweep your feet out from under you in a way you never ever expected. You see, I know exactly what you're thinking. What's he talking about? You say the witness used the syringe to manipulate the level of IV liquid. But there's no proof. There's no proof he didn't do it either. Yes, quite true. Huh? He's admitting it? Nor was the witness quite as decisive as I'd hoped. This I admit. After all, why linger in the past when the future holds so much? You have something in mind, Prosecutor Gavin? Proof, Herr Judge. I have another way to prove my case. With evidence no less. What's this? This is the victim Magnify Gramarye's diary. Diary? After going into the hospital, Magnify began writing his memoirs, it seems. The story of his birth, startling debut, and of meeting his disciples. It seems he intended for the last chapter to end, quite appropriately, with his death. Wait, that book doesn't say what the reason was, does it? The reason why his disciples couldn't refuse his last request? Sadly, it does not. What's important here is on the last page, apparently the victim wrote in his journal that night. Even after the IV had begun at 11 p.m. Let's read it, shall we? There's a ripped page. This does appear to have been written just before his death. Let's see if I can read it. Tonight's IV is in. Maybe the last. I leave the rest to them. The first should come soon. This journal may end here or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. All that is left to something. All that is left to mine? The court accepts this into evidence. Magnifies diary added to the court record. Read the very last part with particular care. This journal may end here or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. Of course, by his, he refers to our defendant, Zach Gramarye. That would make sense, yes. He was the first scheduled visitor after all. But look at what he said before that. This journal may end here or it may go on. It may go on. Magnified Gramarye intended to write again. That is, if Zach Gramarye didn't pull the trigger. I see the defense understands the meaning of this. The victim's diary does not go on, it ends. Because Magnify's life was brought to an end by the defendant, Zach Gramarye. Order! 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 Prosecutor Gavin! Are you certain that Magnified Gramarye wrote this? There's no mistaking his handwriting. Well, this does seem to be significant. According to this, Magnified did intend to continue his diary. Yet if his diary ended here, which plainly it did, then the one who pulled the trigger was the first visitor, Zach Gramarye. Well, how do you like me now, Herr Wright? Still too green for your tastes? He's right about the diary being pretty clear. Still, I find it hard to believe that he'd overlook such an obvious problem with his precious evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, the witness's testimony we heard was lacking, but put together with this evidence, it seems quite sufficient for a case. If the diary is accepted like this, the trial's over. Maybe it's time for me to show them something. Show evidence? Okay. I think this is the fateful time to use the forged evidence, I guess. I'm left with no choice but to show my own evidence. What? You have some evidence that overturns this diary? It's not too late to rethink this and avoid more embarrassment. Very well, please show us your evidence, Mr. Wright. Incidentally, don't even think of showing us this diary. I've just shown the court. Now that we've come this far, I hope you have something a little more decisive. Show us evidence that proves the victim continued writing his diary. Alright, I'd be happy to. The decisive evidence proving that the diary didn't end with this page is... which I guess it's... this? First, take a close look at this diary. Note that a page has been clearly ripped out. What's this? I hadn't noticed that at all. That's why we're still here talking about this. As it just so happens, I have here what I believe to be the missing page. Alec, I don't believe it! Looking at this page, it's hard to imagine that the first visitor that night shot Magnified Gramarye. That's the defense's position. Wait, let me see that. What in Sam Hill? Why, this is the continuation of the victim's diary. Note the torn edge of the page. It's a perfect match with the torn remains of the last page in Magnify's diary. Quite remarkable. Would you care to explain what all this means, Herr Attorney? The diary continued after his first visitor came, which means that the victim was still alive after Zach Gramarye left, leaving no one to take his life but the second visitor. Valiant Gramarye! No! No! The handwriting too matches that on the other pages. This is without a doubt the genuine article. Order! 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 But wait, that's impossible! That old man couldn't have written that.
Objection!
Finally, you just couldn't resist, could you, Herr Wright? Resist what? Presenting solid evidence? Herr Judge? Yes, Prosecutor Gavin? Might I request we put the current cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness. But, Prosecutor Gavin, this evidence overturns the current witnesses. I ask only to put it on hold. Please, my new witness has a very, very important piece of testimony to give. 5 minutes, no more. I promise, Your Honor. Well, if you put it that way. Mr. Wright, what's your take on this? Well, Your Honor, judging from his enthusiasm, we'll have to hear this new testimony sooner or later anyway. So it might as well be sooner. Then, though this is highly irregular, we will put the current cross-examination on hold. The witness may step down. Now, Prosecutor Gavin, please bring this surprise witness to the courtroom. I had a bad feeling just then. That ripped out page was too obvious. He must have known. And I should have known it was a bad sign all around. Oh, he was a witness in this case. Holding trial with no audience is a first, even for me, Prosecutor Gavin. I beg the court's understanding. Ugh, his hair. But I had to make a judiciary deal with the witness to secure his testimony. A judiciary deal? The details of his testimony may have some legal ramifications, shall we say. I thought it best to contain the information in this room. Very well. And you are the witness, I gather? Ah, yes, sir. State your name and occupation for the record. My name's Drew Misham. I'm a painter. A painter? And you are somehow related to this case? No, well, not per se. I have one simple question for this witness. Mr. Misham, was it? Do you know what this is? Oh, yeah, I know it well. How's that possible? Have you seen this diary page somewhere before? Oh, yeah, I mean, I made it. You... what? You made it? Yes. You might call it one of my works. The Regional Prosecutor's Office received a tip-off yesterday. Illegal evidence has been prepared for the trial of Zach Gramarye. Illegal evidence? I initiated an investigation and found this witness. A painter to the world at large, Drew Misham has another side, you might say. He is skilled in making perfect reproductions of certain things. Forgeries, in other words. Forgeries? Well, so we are to understand that this page here is a fake, prepared by a certain defense attorney.
Objection!
How did we didn't even know about the diary. Hold it! I didn't prepare this evidence.
Objection!
Ah, the attorney speaks. Something about this page, I presume. But what is he saying? It makes no sense. After all, it was you who presented this evidence to us, Phoenix Wright. Witness! Mr. Misham, was it? Who requested this forgery? Who was your client? That... I don't know. What? Most of my clients prefer to remain anonymous, even to me. I make the items they want and receive my payment. That's the extent of my contract with them. But there's no proof this is a fake. It's a fake. Huh? To avoid just this sort of problem, I always put a special mark on my works. I can say without a doubt, this is mine. Mr. Wright, you have just presented illegal evidence to this court. My court. It was careless of me. That's all I can say. Oh, old boy. I'm, here. What's this? I don't know. I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in blue, the blue suit and spiky hair. They said it was really important. It was all a trap. A fatal trap. Mr. Wright? Yes. Do you have an explanation for yourself? If I did, would this court hear it? Probably not. Forging evidence is a serious crime, and presenting it in court a serious mistake. A fatal mistake for an attorney. Fatal too, perhaps, for your clients, I fear. Tell me, what kind of defendant relies on forged evidence? The answer is quite clear. A guilty one. Your Honor, wait. I understand that presenting forged evidence in court is a serious crime, but you cannot hold my client responsible for actions I undertook as an individual. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. Your Honor? Another close call, I dare say. The prosecutor's office hadn't received that hot tip. Everything would have gone the way you wanted it to, yeah? I even gave you a chance. Too bad you decided not to think before embarrassing yourself. I see no need for further discussion on this matter. Special witness dismissed. Mr. Attorney? Yes? Could I ask your name? Phoenix Wright. Mr. Wright. I have seen and studied many people, but none like you. I'll remember you, Mr. Wright. Though I deeply regret having to declare a verdict in this way. I know, that guy's hair, right? This trial is over. You have the right to find a new attorney and make an appeal. However, this court must... Ah, Your Honor? Yes, Mr. Zack? There's one thing I wish to make clear. Today, in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. It is impossible! I'm afraid the defendant is quite mistaken. I most certainly have the authority to declare a verdict on you. Except, tell me how you do plan on announcing your verdict. When your defendant does not exist. Doesn't exist? What are you talking about? I'm talking about this! Mr. Enigmar! The defendant's escaped! Find him, quick! Bailiff, close all exits from the building! On the double! He must not be allowed to escape. That day in the courtroom, a miracle occurred. The defendant, Shady Enigmar, aka Zack Gramarye, did not just escape from court. He literally, unbelievably vanished. Right before the bailiff's eyes. No one ever saw him again. Not since that day. This is the Gramarye miracle! Ah ha ha ha! No verdict was declared. After all, the defendant didn't exist. That's how it happened. The trial of magician Zach Gremory vanished along with him for all eternity. The mysteries that remained behind were all solved, however. But not until 7 years later. Yay! That trial 7 years ago was the beginning of it all. This I know beyond a doubt. The mysteries of the past work their magic on the present. But you'll soon be finding all of this out for yourself. Which of Magnify Gremory's disciples pulled that trigger? Where did the vanishing defendant, Zach Gremory, go? What dark truth lurks behind the forged diary page? And what about the girl who was left behind? The past left us these 4 keys to unlock the truth. But that's not all. There are 4 keys in the present as well. And when all the questions have found their answers, the final trial will begin. But first you must chase the truth through then and now. Think of it as a game. It is a game! I, Phoenix Wright, will be your guide through the game. That terrible trial saw me present forged evidence. It ended half-finished when the defendant vanished. What became of me after that? As your investigation proceeds, the answers will become clear. Oh, and one more thing. There is something I must tell you. As Apollo Justice has his bracelet, so too do I have my own weapon of sorts. My Magatama. What does it do, you ask? That I would have you see for yourself. Well now, shall we begin? Touch the arrow to switch between past and present. But let's begin 7 years ago in the past. It's right after my last trial came up to an abrupt end. Now that you know the game, let's play. Okay. This is strange. I don't remember this at all. Let's go to the detention center. The nightmare trial was over, and the new nightmare of figuring out what had happened had just begun. I wanted to wake up, to walk away, but I figured I'm the only one who can do this, probably. And besides, I had plenty of time. Thanks to the Bar Association Review Board's decision. It's hard to work when your attorney's badge has been taken away. 7 years ago, detention center visitors room. What strange sight doth mine eyes behold? Excuse me? 2 men on either side of a single transparent pane. Yet it seems fickle fate has switched sides, so to speak. The forger of fakes walks freely, while the innocent languishes within these plexiglass confines. There's been no proof that I forged anything, nor proof that I took the life of my dear mentor. Yet these chains cannot hold me for long. The stage awaits! And what, may I ask, awaits you? A little piano and a cold little hole in the wall. But since you are here, what shall we discuss? The shooting of Magnify Gremory, for one. Who pulled that trigger, Valent or his partner Zach? His partner vanished before the answers could be found. If I'm going to get any closer to the truth, this is the place to start. The ripped out page. Now I see that everything has been set up. Also, I would present forged evidence to the court. Mr. Vaughn, could you look at this for me, please? Yes, I accept your challenge. Well? Challenge, huh? You want me to make it float, disappear, or shall I simply eat it? What? I didn't come here to play games, Mr. Valent, or watch you do tricks. Does he not comment on anything? I guess he doesn't comment on anything. Alright, let's just chat. Let's have a chat! Fateful trial. I have to hand it to my partner. He knows how to make an exit. That's talent. Yes, he made my attorney's badge disappear and he never even touched it. Glory Spotlight always leaves someone weeping in the shadows. Yet his very disappearance is itself a revelation. Revealing what? Zack Gremory killed Magnify. It's as good as a signed confession. That's certainly been public opinion's take on it. I grow tired of my cage, and the time for my release is near. I must go and prepare. Planning on jumping back into the magic right away? As long as an audience waits with bated breath, there will be Valent. And also, yes, now that my partner has disappeared, Magnify's repertoire is mine. Valent Gremory has a tradition to uphold. Is that true? Seen in this light, the trial was quite good to me. Verdict or no. And you can't pay for that kind of publicity. Blackmail. The suspicion on you hasn't lifted entirely, Valent. After all, you received one of those letters too. You were just as obligated to follow Magnify's instructions as your partner. So I was, but only Zack Gremory followed them. Let us not speak any more of who shot what. Now that my partner has vanished, the question is moot. I'm more interested in learning something else, actually. What might that be? I want to know what Magnify had up his sleeve. How could he coerce you and your partner to kill him? The trick up his sleeve? Perhaps you do not know. Know what? A great magician never reveals his secrets. I didn't think it would be that easy. The audience must remain forever in the audience, bathing in the reflected glow of the spotlight. My Magatama, one of my most prized possessions, which I got during a certain case. It can show me the locks on people's hearts, and if I can unlock their hearts, they'll tell me their secrets. The Magatama starts it all, and the Magatama ends it. Oh, it has a little button for it. I don't have to present it. I wonder if we even have what we need to do it. Oh, cool. Anyways. The trick up his sleeve. See, I'm flying by the seat of my pants on this one. There must be a path leading from the evidence to the truth. And that's what I'm going to find. To ask someone to take a life, even one not long for this world, that's asking someone to commit murder. Yes, our mentor was fond of dramatic moves and dramatic finales. And he got his wish. His life was taken. What weakness can be so powerful as to coerce someone into committing murder? My guess is it was a matter of life or death. Care to explain? Your troupe lived in a world of showmanship. The flashier the better. And flashy so often means danger, doesn't it? Let us make this as painless as possible. If you have proof of this danger, then show it. I guess this is the gun?
Take that!
Why, that's one of ours. Specially designed for your show, I gather. A single bullet, one shot. What are you suggesting? We are magicians, Mr. Wright, not murderers. I'm not crying murder, Mr. Valent. I'm crying something far more tragic. An accident. Zack and Valent's quick draw shoot-'em. How long has it been since those shots were last heard? Was the shoot-'em cancelled because someone might get hurt? Of course. What other reason could there be? Well, it could have been cancelled because someone had already been hurt. Fascinating, my Faustian forging friend. But tell me, what can you prove with a single pistol? Well, tell me what would have happened if there had been an accident. What if one of your bullets took a life on stage? The performance of magic is not concerned with what-ifs. It is concerned with precision. Precisely whom do you claim we shot? Looks like I've chosen the right path. Let's just hope he walks it with me. A life was sacrificed so that the show might go on, and this shows who it was. I don't think we have evidence that shows who it was. If it's not the diary, then we don't have what we need. I don't think it's the diary.
Take that!
A word, if I may. Yes? Does it excite you to know you stand at a critical moment in your quest? Yeah, it does, sort of. Then you'd never make it on stage. You're not fit to be a magician. Give it up! I hadn't actually been considering that as a career option. I'm sure you'll find something else to while away the time. Like figuring out who that bullet hit. Alright. A life was sacrificed so the show might go on, and this shows who it was. We don't know. Or we don't have the evidence. I may not have enough evidence right now to pull this off. Maybe it's time to do a little more legwork. Alright, The guard keeps stealing glances in this direction. And scratching his head. Maybe our resident magician showed him a trick or two. Smile, you're on candid camera. I just had to say it. Old habits die hard. Maybe I should do a few tricks for the viewers at home. Alright, let's go somewhere else. Defendant lobby number 2. Oh! I guess I chose that. 7 years ago, District Court, Defendant lobby number 2. Didn't think I'd be back here for a while. I didn't want to have to remember that day. Though I deeply regret having to declare a verdict in this way, this trial is over. Your Honor? Yes, Mr. Zack? There's one thing I wish to make clear. Today in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. What are you talking about? I'm talking about this! Goodbye. Mr. Enigmar! The defendants escaped! Find him, quick! Bailiff, close all exits from the building! On the double! He must not be allowed to escape. Ah, my voice has really been wearing down after the last few days. Which reminds me, I didn't even get any water. Let's see. When I came here on that fateful morning, I still had my badge, but now, like an amputated limb, I can still feel it itching. Where do I start? I don't even have the authority to investigate. Hey, you there, sir! Oh, this guy. Down on the hands! Floor on your head! Now, now, now! What's the big deal? My ears! No unauthorized personnel aren't allowed in here. But that would mean all unauthorized personnel are allowed. Zoink! I just say it like it... I just say it like it is, sir, and it's usually wrong. Thrown out of the precinct, lost my friends, my girl, and even my wallet. We've met before, haven't we? On a case 2 years ago? No recollection of that, sir? Huh? For me, working on a case is always in the present, progressive tense, sir. There is no past. There is only now, sir. Okay. You're the bailiff, right? Yes, sir. Court Bailiff Mike Meekins at your service, sir. I've asked to meet with the bailiff at this court who let the magician escape. Let me try to make this as absolutely clear as possible for you, sir. It was me, sir! But you were a regular police officer once, right? Sometimes bad things happen to good people, sir. Something tells me it's a long story. Let's not go there. So you were in charge of the security at the time of the vanishing? I'm dying over here! Oh, it's a hard knock life, sir. Thrown out of the precinct, lost my friends, my girl, and even my wallet. Guess I wasn't the only victim. I must have seen that painting 1,000 times, but I never really looked at it until now. I guess my head was too stuck on the trials. I never had time to stop and appreciate art. I have time now. Okay, let's appreciate. Actually, it's pretty lame. You know, I think this was the lobby I used for my very first case. This plant has seen me grow from a rookie to an ace. To a has-been. I hate you, plant. Just kidding. Don't blame the plants. I actually took a nap on that couch once when I was still practicing law. Boy, that was a mistake. I never even sit in the lobby sofas now. I never let my clients sit on them either. It's bad luck. It's because in the situation he's talking about, he got conked on the head with a fire extinguisher and lost his memory. I guess this door was officially a prop in Zach Gramarye's last show. He passed through that lobby door and vanished, but to where? He choreographed that entire fateful trial according to his grand scenario. I hate magicians. Oh gosh, Phoenix is so negative. All of a sudden. I hate you, plant! Just kidding. Let's present things. Any thoughts on this, Mr. Meekins? This is an honor! Sir, I've offered my opinions on plenty of things, even things I know nothing about. But no one has ever asked for my opinion before. Ow, there's no need to shout, really. So, no opinion? None! I know nothing about that, sir. But I thought... Oh, never mind. Alright, let's see what he knows about everything else. They brought this guy back. Hey, Shot, how are you doing? Yeah, they brought back Mike Meekins. How are you doing, Shot? I don't know if I always forget if I say that or not. I think it, but I just don't know if I say it. I don't think he knows anything about the trial, just that, Zach got away. Just got back from 8 miles of rollerblading. That sounds like fun. I was never very good at rollerblading. I'm doing pretty good. I'm kind of tired. I forgot to get some water, so I don't know if I'm gonna do this the rest of the night. I may find a stopping point at some point and for like 30 minutes do whatever. I don't know. Oh, but my throat just doesn't want to work today. Or my voice. Alright, he's got nothing to say about anything that I got. Last time we met, you were a police officer, right? In fact, you're still wearing your uniform. Sir, I wish I didn't have to tell you this, but last year, tragedy struck a rising star at the precinct. I lost my case files 4 times in 3 days. They fired me. That takes real talent, actually. They don't know what they're missing. So here I am, sir, forced to start from square one, a lowly bailiff. But your uniform. I took it with me as a souvenir the day I was fired. Look at his face. That can't be legal. So you were the one who let the magician get away that day? I'm dying over here. A star rises among the court bailiffs full of hope. Then tragedy strikes. Is there anything you can tell me about it? About Zach Gramarye's disappearance? Oh, the humanity! That's enough of that. Why, yes, I'd say it was around 2 p.m. when I heard a commotion in court. I opened the door to see what might be amiss. The door slams open, slam, and some guy's face is right there in front of me. Face! So, you saw someone suspicious coming your way? Yes! And I, being a bailiff of little standing, I gave chase. I chased that silk hat all the way down the hall, sir. I have a diagram of the court building here. Aha! There's courtroom number 7. That's where I was, sir. All by myself. Nary a friend to call my own. Okay, and which way did Zach Gramarye run after busting through the courtroom door? He went up like this and around the corner like that! So I, with no delay, ran after him with no delay. When I turned the corner, I saw that magic man run into the defendant lobby. Swiftly I ran. Following him, I threw myself boldly into the room. Why, I remember like it was right here, because it was! Lobby number 2, sir. You ran into this room? I don't see any place to hide in here. Believe it or not, sir, I didn't believe it. Here, in this room, the magician, gone, vanished like a puff of smoke. Except there wasn't even any smoke. He was just gone. That's impossible. Yes, that That word! Oh, how many times have I said that word? Even the sound of it causes me indescribable pain. I'm dying! I'm dying over here! Okay, I won't say it again, I promise. But you have to admit, it's difficult to vanish into thin air. Did you search the lobby? I searched. Why the pause? There was nothing here at all, sir. That's right, nothing was here, sir! How can he talk so loud and still be hiding something? So Zack was in this room when he vanished. Absolutely, sir. I saw him with my own eyes. With my own eyes. That red silk hat, that flowing cape. He ran right in here, right inside this room. Silk hat, cape. That's Zack, all right. But sir, look at the room. There's not a single place to hide. Sir, there was nothing I could do. But nothing, sir. What about now? Do you have any ideas? Sir! Ideas about what exactly, sir, if you don't mind me asking? You've had quite a bit of time since then. Has nothing occurred to you at all? Do you have any idea what trick he might have used to disappear like that? Cyclops. I should have known. I guess we can try? I don't think we've got what we need, but we'll give it a try. We are very tired. Oh, well, you'll be home soon, baby. I think we'll try his Cyclops, and then I'm gonna play something else. I just can't do this reading tonight. The disappearing trick. Okay, Mr. Meekins, what do you know? Spit it out! Hey! Ooh, what's with the atmosphere here all of a sudden? You know something, and I'm going to find out what. Zack Gremory vanished from this room. How did he do it? How, sir? Well, sir, I can't say as I... Sir! Why are you so nervous if you aren't hiding something? Well, sir, you see, at the time, sir, I was here and... Listen, it was impossible! What could such a little girl possibly do, anyway? What did you say? What did you just say? Sir! Did I just say something, sir? No, you screamed it through that megaphone of yours. There was someone else in the room, wasn't there? Sir, I'm going to have to invoke my right to remain in a state of not talking! It's okay, Meekins, you don't have to tell me who Zack's accomplice was. I know who was there in this room that day. Aw, little Trucy! Aw, that's the same age as Lacey. She looks just like Lacey.
Take that!
Lacey and Trucy. Sir, I've never seen that girl until just the other day. Does this Phoenix Wright game use any upgraded features of the new system it is on? Any of those 3D looking items? Trying to figure out if they made this beforehand but just never released it, or if they made this... No, this one was made for the 3DS. It's got the intros to the to all the cases are I don't know, they're flashier, and then some of them have 3D diagrams, and it's got the 3D item thing that you can look at the items. It was made for this system. Let's see. ... Mr. Meekins, I'm not buying it. Sir! Sir, that day she was here, in the room, sir. But he wasn't! You mean you chased her into this room, not him? You chased her into this room, not him? Sir, in my days as a police officer, literally days, I learned a thing or two. Okay, just one thing. But it was how not to mistake a girl for a 7-foot-tall magician. Ooh, he was 7 foot tall? Did they get Phoenix on stage singing? No. At least not yet. 7 feet? Zack isn't that tall, is he? You have a point. I find it hard to imagine that anyone would mistake a little girl for Zack Gramarye. But you saw something, and therein lies the trick. I think you know what it was, Mr. Meekins. Tell me, does this trick look familiar? Yeah, I don't think we have what we need. I may not have enough evidence right now to pull this off. Maybe it's time to do a little more legwork. Alright. Also, when you click on the Magatama here, it's 3D model. See? Ding-ding. Although I don't know if you can really tell with how little this screen is. I don't know.